First of all, I want to talk about the new animated Predator anthology movie Killer of Killers, what it means for the future of the saga, and its connections to a revitalized connected universe. The film was touted as a secret project, which potentially sets the stage for them to deliver another secret movie in the future. The film, directed by Prey director Dan Trachtenberg and co-directed by Joshua Wassong, has been a massive success for the franchise, debuting at number 1 on Hulu and achieving the highest Rotten Tomatoes score for the entire 8-film franchise, beating out 2022's Prey, also directed by Dan Trachtenberg. In fact, following the critical success of Prey, Trachtenberg has seemingly been handed the keys to the castle. Prey revitalised the property after the slightly clunky The Predator left the saga in uncertain waters. Having proved himself with Prey, Trachtenberg has been given a shot at the big screen with his next instalment in the saga, Predator Badlands, which will be coming to cinemas, unlike Prey and Killer of Killers that were both straight-to-streaming titles, but more on that later in the video. Killer of Killers is stuffed full of connections to other Predator movies, and even has some significant connections to the Alien universe too, setting the stage for a future showdown between the two sci-fi titans. In Killer of Killers, we see the most important gun in the Predator series, that was first seen all the way back in 1990's Predator 2. Not as popular as the original upon its release, the Predator sequel did however give us the first suggestion that the Alien and Predator universes were in fact one and the same. This confirmation came in the form of a blink and you'll miss it Easter egg towards the end of the film where our hero, Mike Harrigan, played by Danny Glover, enters the Predator's lair and sees a trophy wall with the skulls of vanquished foes the Predator had fought before. The most significant of these belonging to a xenomorph from the Alien franchise, suggesting that these films all took place on the same timeline. This one production detail basically spawned the entire Alien vs Predator world, inspiring countless comics, books, games, and eventually 2 films. Later on in that same sequence, Glover's character is gifted an old flintlock pistol by some elder predators as a mark of respect, a gesture that would then be mirrored in the first Alien vs Predator film. This pistol was another fun production design detail that suggested a greater history to the saga that had previously been explored in the series, hinting at a long past of the Predator visiting Earth. The backstory of the artifact was explored in comics that were then retconned by the 2022 film Prey when the pistol resurfaced in the saga. This was a massive moment for the saga as, for superfans, Predator 2's connections to a larger universe were much loved, so seeing the Trachtenberg and co. were acknowledging them meant that questions we had always had were going to be explored. Seeing this pistol again in Killer of Killers once more recontextualizes its relevance and sets it up as a storytelling device that could potentially lead up to another event film, the secret movie that I think they're planning to make, once more pitting Alien against Predator. Another detail that points towards the likelihood of a potential cinematic matchup, or rematchup, is towards the end of the anthology we see a Predator King wearing a cloak of alien spines. Both of these details, the pistol and the spines, hark back to the first and most significant connection of these two franchises back in Predator 2, directly referencing the moment where it all began. We also have a cameo from Amber Midthunder's Naru, the main protagonist of Prey, in animation form at the end of Killer of Killers. This is not only a thrill for fans of Prey to see this amazing character reappear, setting her up for more outings in future projects, but it also opens the door to other characters to return to the series too, as we see a vast hall full of these cryo chambers. Could one of these chambers contain Arnold Schwarzenegger's Dutch from the original Predator movie, or could we see Danny Glover return to the franchise, or even Adrian Brody coming back after featuring in Predators back in 2010? Moving now into the Alien side of this crossover, the next installment in that franchise will be coming to our screens soon with the first TV show in the saga, Alien Earth. The trailer for this series dropped recently, giving us our best look at what is in store for the series set just 2 years before the original Alien film that came out in 1979. There's a big clue in the title, but this series will actually be set on Earth, a first for the series proper, although both the Alien and Predator movies were set on Earth, but even on the channel here we only acknowledge the existence of one of those films. Alien Earth will be crashing onto our TV screens on the 13th of August on Disney Plus here in the UK, and the day before in the US, with the show landing on Hulu on the 12th of August. The show is created by Fargo and Legion writer-creator Noah Hawley, and is executive produced by the progenitor of it all, Ridley Scott, the director of the original Alien, as well as the prequel movies Prometheus and Covenant. The show stars Sidney Chandler, who has appeared in shows like Pistol and Sugar, as well as the movie Don't Worry Darling. There is also a fairly large supporting cast of stars, both newcomer and old favourites alike, such as Andor's Alex Lawther and Justified lead Timothy Oliphant. This series looks incredible without straying away from the original production design. The series looks like the original, but expands the vision, showing us what life might be like in 100 years, if we survive that long. The grime and the grit are juxtaposed against the clinical, clean lines and bright white lights of the sterilised settings of control booths and chemical labs. The show seems to include everything you might want being a fan of the series, with colonial marine-styled soldiers as well as androids and aliens aplenty. The premise of the show seems to revolve around a group of explorers going out looking for monsters and bringing back what they find, only to be inevitably overwhelmed by what they encounter. It's here where the potential connections to a crossover event could be set up. Could Predator be one of the species they come across in their travels? Or could there even at least be a hint to a Predator-adjacent species, like the river ghost that we saw in Predators, that was based on the original design for Predator back when Jean-Claude Van Damme was in the suit, before that version was scrapped and reshoots gave us the version we all know today. Jumping back into the Predator realm once more, the next outing for that franchise will be Predator Badlands, coming to the cinema on the 7th of November. This is great news for Predator fans, as the last two titles in the series didn't get a cinematic release, so seeing this Titan back on the big screen will be very exciting. Dan Trachtenberg is back at the helm, directing this film, bolstered on by the success of both Prey and Killer of Killers. The film will be set sometime in the future on an alien planet, the second time only after 2010's Predators, beside glimpses of the Predator home planet in the Alien vs Predator movies. The film will also fulfill a long-time hope for fans, as Predator will actually be the protagonist of this film. Outcast from his clan, Dek must set off in search of the ultimate prey, flanked by Elle Fanning as an android, Thea. In the trailer, we see a diverse mix of biomes, cannon fodder soldiers, another look at the fascinating primal hierarchy of the Predator race, and, filmed for IMAX, huge creatures that will leap off the screen. There are also loads of great world connections that we can see here, like a trophy room at the start of the trailer that harks back to Predator 2, the one that started it all in terms of crossover. Even more compelling evidence in terms of a possible future crossover, there is an overt reference to the recent Alien Romulus from Fede Alvarez, where Elle Fanning's android Thea's eyes rolling back into her head to reveal Weyland-Yutani's logo, mirroring the moment in Romulus where David Johnson's Andy's eyes did the exact same thing in an incredibly intense scene. There's also a momentary glimpse at a wrecked truck that bears the logo of Weyland-Yutani that conjures the same sort of imagery we saw in Aliens at the ill-fated terraforming facility on LV-426. Trachtenberg and team are clearly not shying away from these connections to a larger cinematic universe, and this film could tie into the end of Killer of Killers as well, thus building up to the event movie that I think they are secretly making. Both Alien Romulus and Prey reinvigorated their slightly tired franchises respectively, and now both films could reportedly be getting a sequel. Prey was a massive hit critically, and has clearly played a large role in securing Dan Trachtenberg the role of overseeing the Predator films in the future. Although a direct sequel to Prey hasn't yet been confirmed, there is still time for that to happen, potentially based on the success of Badlands when that comes out. It's not wildly unlikely, however, that we will see Amber Midthunder's Naru return to this world sooner rather than later, especially after her visual cameo at the end of Killer of Killers. Alien Romulus was also a massive success for the Alien franchise. The film earned over $350 million worldwide at the box office and became the highest grossing film in the IMAX format as a horror film. The film was a smash hit with fans, and the only maligned element being the dodgy effects on the reanimated Ash being now tweaked for the home release. Now we have reports that Romulus 2 is in production. Maybe the film might be called Remus even, building on the Roman illusions of the first film. The film is apparently in pre-production at the moment and will go into filming in October of this year. Alvarez has said that the film may be released sooner than some may expect, with the film possibly arriving in the summer of next year. But what about seeing Alien face off against Predator again? This secret movie I believe the studio is making. Well, Disney has acquired the rights to both of these properties, and now that both of them fall under the domain of the House of Mouse, a crossover is more likely than it has been for almost a decade. Trachtenberg and Alvarez don't seem to be against the idea at all. In fact, they seem to be all for it. In an interview with Deadline, Alvarez suggested that maybe he and Trachtenberg would need to direct one half of the movie each, in a similar vein to Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez making From Dusk Till Dawn together. Another quote that adds credence to this theory that they could be working on a secret movie came from Alvarez when he said that the best AVP will be the one that you don't know is an AVP until the other guy shows up. Alvarez addressed the fact that in the internet age it's harder to hide secrets, but extolled the virtues of a potential Alien vs. Predator movie that could genuinely surprise the audience and give them an experience they wouldn't soon forget. A lot of this speculation depends on the success of the upcoming Alien Earth and Predator Badlands, as if either of these projects flop, we might not see an Alien vs. Predator movie anytime soon.